at him go. Wow. This is really one of those heartwarming moments in sports where you just, oh my God.
Welcome, guys, to Fantasy Sports Island. We got a full crew today, fellas.
What's up?
That's unheard of. That's unheard of.
Oh, look who's back, guys. Sir Poops a lot.
Hey, what's happening? Sorry it took me so long to get back.
All good. Of course, we got Johnny Ballgame.
What's up?
And look who's back. Keith, the fantasy antagonist. Welcome to the
Mr.
show, bro.
Antagonist. Welcome.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
How you been? How's things going in the fantasy world?
Get my butt kicked.
Aren't we all?
Honestly.
Yeah.
Man,
Weirdest
You know-
fantasy ever.
you know what? We had a good matchup this week, though, between Johnny Ballgame and Sir Poops a lot. They actually played each other in two different leagues. How did that end
Yeah.
up, fellas?
Sure did.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Tony, remind the crew who won both of those games if you could.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was very sick, though. I slept all day. I wasn't able to put in my complete roster.
Wow.
Yeah, I got thrashed. My teams were pathetic.
Were you Lamar? Were you sick?
Yeah, it was Lamar. If Lamar played, you lose.
Tony and I played each other in two leagues. In one league, he had Lamar, and in the other league, I had Lamar. So we
Yeah.
both screwed by that guy.
Evened out, right? Evened out.
Yep.
All right, we got a great show for you tonight, guys. We have a couple new segments. We're going to give our Thanksgiving on this glorious Thanksgiving weekend. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving as well. While you're at it, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, because once again, we do this every week, and we appreciate your support. And now, let me kick off some stuff. Tony, you ready to do some fantasy nicknames?
Oh, man. I hope. Yeah, I got like none. But yeah, let's give it a
You don't
shot.
have any? I'll start it off.
All right.
Well, how about in Green Bay? Wide receiver Higante Adams, because that fool was huge. I told Johnny last week on the show, I had a feeling Devontae was going to get 2 touchdowns and 130, 140 yards. He almost made me a miracle worker. He got 115 and 2 touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
What do you got, Tony?
Well, I understand that these guys, didn't get much playing time, let's call it, but because I'm a little bit bitter with Denver, Cortland's sucking.
He's been sucking big time.
It's pretty bad when you're on a bye week and you still get Tony's wrath.
Right?
How
I
about
got one
ahead,
from last
Johnny.
night. Kenny Galno play.
Yeah, jeez. That guy.
Right?
$18 million for 7 snaps. Come on, man.
Well, since we're being so negative, how about in Buffalo? Zach Buttmoss.
Butt moss.
Don't Google that, folks. Don't Google that.
That's
You don't wanna
not. Put the kids to bed, please. This show's getting weird.
know. Speaking of weird,
Already.
how about in Chicago? Duracell Mooney. Because trust is power. Does anybody get that reference? It's the old
I get it a
Duracell
little bit.
motto.
Wow. Wow.
You got one, Tony?
I have, this is really stupid, but I'm going to say it because I'm really frustrated, but it's the no fightins defense.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wow.
Terrible.
Didn't see that one coming.
How about this one's for you, Johnny? Talking about
All right.
defense. How about the you think again Patriots defense?
Nice.
They're so good.
No one's getting past them, man. How many turnovers did they get last week?
4.
4. And a touchdown.
Got a tutty. Oh, so
Yeah,
nice.
it'll come out in a few weeks.
You remember the New England defense.
Practices were taped or something.
Oh, of course he videoed him. Hey, I got another one in Green Bay. How about Aaron out my balls Rodgers?
What?
You aired it out.
I think that's a
Yeah.
different site.
Don't go to that.com.
Yeah, that's not a .com.
How about in Indianapolis? You got the running back there, Jonathan Impaler. Man, that guy.
That's good.
I like
Yeah,
that.
that's a good one.
Good
Touchdown.
one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Anybody got any more nicknames?
Yeah, another one. I'm still bitter. You guys won't get this, but Harry Booty, another Denver Bronco.
Harry Booty and said Judy.
I,
Hey,
guy's
hey
killing
Tony,
Yeah.
you know the Broncos weren't playing this week, right?
I told you I was sick this week. I didn't even wake up for Sunday.
Jesus,
He
man.
still started them and Lamar.
No wonder I won in both leagues.
I'm trying
Hey,
to think
you
of
know-
a lineman for the Colts, but I can't remember.
Hey, you know who did play this week? Austin Excellent.
Yeah.
4
Yeah, man.
touchdowns.
Yeah,
Don't you
sure.
have him? Didn't you have him on
I
the
do.
team?
Oh, that's right. You don't. That's-
Yeah.
Hey, I got another one for you, Johnny. The wide receiver for the Jets. Would you Elijah some more?
Oh, that's a good one right there. Nice.
I like that.
And I do like you that one.
That's a good one.
It's my
Well,
second
now-
best pickup of the season.
Well, now that I gave you a positive one, I got to go negative on you. In Chicago, you got Busted Fields.
Yeah.
He busted him ribs.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Isn't he by Saggy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Who else had a bye? I'll give you some more names from some teams that were on a bye.
I don't think the Saints played this week, did they? Oh, wait, yes, they did.
Barely. Yeah.
They didn't really play, though.
I was going to say the Bears didn't play.
All right, you guys ready to move on? You guys
Quarterback
ready
is
to move on
a-
the show here?
Yes, please, let's go.
Here we go.
News and notes around the NFL.
All right, news and notes around the NFL. We don't have a lot of stories today because not a lot happened over the last few days, but let's go over what did happen. We'll start with the Saints. This one is ridiculous. The Saints and Taysom Hill agreed on a new extension for a 4-year, $40 million deal that has incentives that could get him up to $95 million if he gets a certain amount of snaps at quarterback. Is this the dumbest deal in NFL history? John, I'm going to start with you.
I don't know how I can put this eloquently to you other than just, yes, it's the dumbest deal in the history of the. I mean, we're paying. This guy is made so much money off of doing what 10 plays a game. I mean, seriously, what are we doing? No, I'm out. I'm out of Taysom Hill. He
You know
can't even
what?
stay healthy this.
That's true.
Yeah. You know who's sitting at home going, what the fuck? Well, he's probably not using the F word, but Tim Tebow. It's like, dude, I did that. Nobody paid me.
Seriously. Seriously. He's the Tim Tebow, only less religious and doesn't kneel as much.
Yeah.
Exactly. How do you feel about this, Tony? I mean, do you see value in Taysom Hill? I mean, obviously now he's going to be quarterback if they're going to give him that much money, right? Is that what we think?
Yeah. I mean, don't you think you could use all that money on something more worthwhile? That's what I don't get. You could even possibly trade the guy, but all I'm going to say is, do they know something we don't know? We haven't seen it. He's been there a few years, so he's good at like in the red zone. Other than that, what are you doing? Use the money somewhere else.
What do you think, Keith? I want to hear your take on that.
I just want to know what he knows. Like, what does he know about the president, about the coach? Like, he's sucking somebody off and
Yeah, I
getting
agree.
paying money
Yeah,
for
what kind of
it.
pictures does he have? I'm with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Tony, we have seen it. Didn't he start like 4 or 5 games last year?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was the best option quarterback, I guess. I mean, if you could call him a quarterback, he didn't hardly throw. Made Kamara useless.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than that, he was fantastic. So 40 mil.
Wow.
40 up to 95.
If only they had needs on that. If only they had
What was his stats this
like
weekend?
wide
Was it-
receiver.
He has like 2 yards or something this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he didn't do
Seriously.
anything. He literally didn't
Where's-
do anything this week.
I think you're right. I think honestly he may know something, or he has like some dirt or something. I don't know. I mean, it's absurd.
Yeah.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
It
No.
doesn't. You know what does make sense though? The Texans released Philip Lindsay. Hey, now that makes sense. Instead of paying him $95 million to stay around, just cut his ass, move on. Do we care that Lindsay's no longer there? Does this make any of the Houston players in the backfield worthwhile? I'll start with you, Keith. What do you think?
I'm a little interested in David Johnson. I think Tyrod Taylor's got some magic to him, and if that offense starts moving, David Johnson might actually help. Other than that, I mean, Philip Lindsay was done. It was time for him to go.
John, what do you think?
I'll take things that have no relevancy to football for 100, Alex. No, I don't. I think it was not relevant at all. I'm a little interested in Rex Burkhead, the Rex Burkhead experiment the last 2 weeks. That guy catches a lot of passes out of the backfield. I mean, so does David Johnson, but he's just not as old as David Johnson. But he's intrigues me enough, but not enough to make a move for him. So I don't think he's going to get that much. But
Yeah.
they split.
All right. This is something that we've been calling for a while here on this channel. According to sources, these are sources, not official. The Bears are considering and probably going to fire Matt Nagy after their Thanksgiving game this week. Hooray, Johnny!
Johnny ball game. Where'd you get?
How long have we been wanting this to happen?
Dream.
Since what, last year maybe?
Honestly, I never thought he was the right coach when they first picked him. So it's great news. Now I think it's weird it hasn't been confirmed. I think it's weird if they did actually say, hey, by the way, we're going to fire you after Thanksgiving, but we want you to coach until through Thanksgiving. And then even if you win, we're going to fire you. It's just weird to me. Now, I do think that they're going to fire him after Thanksgiving, win or lose. But I don't know that it went down the way they said it went down today. But I can't wait.
I think their plan was to fire them, but they didn't want to do it on a short week because they're playing Thursday on Thanksgiving. So it's really hard to put in a game plan with a new coach and stuff. So I could definitely see them doing it afterwards. I think the leak got out, and then they kind of wanted to backtrack, like, "Oh no, we didn't say that." But I think somebody knows the truth, and I think it's going to happen. What do you think, Tony? You think it's going to happen for sure?
Yeah, it seems like it's going to happen. If I was him, I'd be like, later. I would just walk because I'd rather spend Thanksgiving with my family. Forget it. Start over. But he's being the bigger guy playing Thursday.
He also might actually have to get the rest of his money.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. He needs that paycheck.
Yeah.
Speaking of mediocre coaches that we've been wanting to get out of here for years, hey, Keith, over in New York, the Giants have finally officially fired offensive coordinator Jason Garrett. What do we think?
About time, man. Goodness gracious. Did you see that game? Have you seen any of their games this year? Their offense is just horrible. I don't know how this guy keeps getting jobs. It's mind-boggling to me. You saw what he did in Dallas, and they finally got rid of him, and then he goes to the Giants, and you're just like, really? Come on. Enough is enough.
Here's how bad the
You
Giants
can't
are,
keep
though.
doing this.
Here's how bad the Giants
One thing
are.
is like
They're replacing him with
the
Freddie
Giants have
Kitchens.
so much capability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kitchens.
I'm with you,
Doesn't help
Keith.
much.
So much talent on that team. But yeah, Freddie Kitchens to the rescue. You saw what he did with all that talent.
Yeah. Come on.
That's how bad he is.
I was watching the Peyton and Eli commentary for the Monday Night Football game on ESPN last night, and the Giants had 4th and 2 on a couple different occasions, and their play calling was to roll Daniel Jones out to the right side and then try to get a 2-yard pass. And the Mannings both were saying, "Why the hell are you rolling him out to the right and taking away half the field for you on 4th and 2?" Also, they're not utilizing their best weapon, which was Saquon Barkley in the backfield. They didn't even use him as a decoy, like a play action. That's coaching.
I don't even know if Saquon's really the best option. You got that Kadarius Toney guy. Have you
He's
seen that
so
guy
good,
moving the
man.
ball?
He's incredible.
That guy's
So
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
And they're just not getting him. They're not giving him enough open field. It's like these little dunk passes that are just like, come on, get him out in the open field and let's see what that guy can do. Give him a post route or something.
Can we run a
Totally.
slant? Run a slant.
Yeah.
That guy
Right.
Slant.
Right.
quick seam. I don't, you know what? Play actions, quick seam
Yeah.
to him in this. Oh God, that'd be nice. That'd be a nice play right there, actually.
would. All right.
Fantasy Heroes and Zeros.
Let's go on to our next segment, and that is Fantasy Heroes and Fantasy Zeros.
Zeros.
There were a lot of Fantasy Heroes this week because there were some big scores out there. I'm going to start with you, John. You're the hero at quarterback, and this is not someone that we've ever mentioned in this segment. Who was your hero?
No, but I need to preface this by saying again, I mentioned it earlier. I had Lamar. And so going into this week, Lamar was sick, but then he was getting better. And then, he was great. He's joking, he's laughing, and everybody's, Lamar's back. And then Sunday morning, Lamar looks super sick, getting off the bus. Oh, Lamar's not playing. And so I had to scramble to get a backup. And I had Cam. So I do want to say that I had Cam. I didn't trust Cam, which is another story. So I went and picked up Tua. And Tua put together a hell of a game, man. I mean, he honestly just played really well. Ran the ball, threw the ball. It's fantastic. He's my hero. He's my hero because I had to start him. Now, I will say this came outscored by 3 points. So I would have been fine either way. But I still want to give props to Tua.
Yeah, he definitely came through for you. Cam would have come through for you too. Either one.
Yep.
Tony also had a quarterback hero this week. This one we've talked about before. Who is it?
Herbert. This guy is another one of those players, amazing, talented players that is confusing me, where one game they cannot be stopped and they put up a shit ton of points. And then the next game, even playing a defense that is not, subpar, and they cannot put any string of plays together, like nothing.
No.
And it's very, very frustrating. This week, he is my goddamn hero. He kicks some ass. Next week, we'll see. That's how I feel. Yep.
He's been feast or famine. There is
Yeah,
no
he
doubt
has.
about
Yeah,
it.
he has.
He really has. All right, Keith also has a quarterback as his hero. Who is it?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Cam because my hero is Tyler Heineke because of the fact that he beat Cam. I honestly can't stand Cam. I hate that guy with a passion. I think he's the most selfish person that I've ever met, I've ever seen. And I can't stand the guy. So Tyler Heineke being that quarterback that doesn't fuck it up this week and actually get that win, that's why he's my hero this week.
Oh, bro, I'm right there with you. I hate Cam Newton. Everyone knows it. I don't think any of us like Cam Newton, but
I have him on my team. I hate him.
yeah. And at least they lost. At least they lost, so we wouldn't have to watch the freaking Cam Newton freaking, bullshit after the game.
Antics.
Yeah, his antics.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if they would have won that game and he came back to bring them back to a win? Oh, damn it.
Ugh.
Right?
Yeah.
Would have had a cool hat on, though, I bet you.
Stop it, Tony. Stop it.
I hate his hats are the worst. I hate his hats so much. It's
Everybody
why,
hates that guy.
Yeah.
All right, I got a hero.
Who
I
you
don't
got?
have any shares of this guy, but watching him play, I was like, wow, this guy's a superhero. And that's Jonathan Taylor. 32 carries for 185, 3 receptions for 19 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Highest scoring fantasy game we've seen in years. It's even higher than last year's Kamara, who had 6 touchdowns. Kamara didn't have the amount of yards that this man had. Jonathan Taylor, what a beast. I totally regret not taking this guy. I took Nick Chubb. I blew it. What are you
We
gonna
all
do,
did.
right?
We all did. We all
We all
did.
did, but he's a hero for sure. All right, another hero for you, John. Different position now. We're going to the wide receiver. Who you got?
This guy, second best pickup I made all year. It could end up being my best pickup. Mr. Elijah Moore from the Jets. 8 catches on 11 targets, a $141, and a nice long ass touchdown. It was beautiful. They even let him rush once for 15 yards. I mean, this guy is becoming so much part of the offense. I mean, his targets the last 4 weeks, 6, 6, 8, 6, actually 5 weeks, 11. So, I mean, he's just continuing to get better and better. He's had 4 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. This guy's a maniac, and he was so good. So good this week.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's been great. All that hype about him in the preseason. You know, we thought the first 6 weeks or so, like everyone was full of crap. But here we go. Elijah's starting to really pick it up. Looks like a stud. I like him. All right, Tony, running back. Who's your hero?
I'm going Joe Mixon. Now, obviously, he's doing quite well. I was not on the Mixon train, if you guys remember. I've been, I was down on him a little bit in the offseason and not trusting him at all. Johnny, actually, thanks to Ball Game, he kept bringing up Mixon's going to have a good year, dude. He's going to have a good year. And it kept hearing that stupid voice of Johnny Ball Game in the back of my head going, I'm going to make a poor fucking decision if I don't listen to that voice. So I grabbed him in a couple leagues. He excelled for me. He's doing quite well. And what I'm most excited about is not only is he doing well, the Bengals are utilizing him properly. They do not need to be this massive passing game. They can give that guy the ball and they can ease some of that pain. And it showed this weekend because Burrow did not have a good game. It was okay, but it was not a good game. They didn't need him. They just ran the ball. So thank you, Joe Mixon.
Nice. Nice to hear you say some positive things about the Bengals for a
It
change.
is.
For
Yeah,
once.
I knew. It's a relief.
All right, Keith, you have a hero, and it's a tight end.
Yep, tight end Zach Ertz. You have Kyler Murray who's out. You have DeAndre Hopkins who's out, and who steps up? Zach Ertz. Eight catches, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. He really beasted out this weekend, and he's one of my favorite players, mainly because his wife also plays soccer, and I'm a big fan of soccer. So Julie Ertz and Zach Ertz.
Nice.
I gotta be honest. The Fantasy Reaper was just about to take out Zach Ertz this year. He was on the cusp, and he's been resuscitated, right, Johnny? Come back from the grave
He
and
sure
all that.
has. Sure has.
He really has. He looks good. It's good.
Can I
to
tell you
see.
something
He's got
unfortunate?
40 catches on the year, 458 yards, and 5 TDs so far this year.
Nice.
Nice.
Can I tell
John,
you something
tell us
unfortunate? He was on my bench.
Oof.
So,
It happens.
Who'd you play over him?
Hunter, because I was looking for that Thursday night. I thought the Patriots were going to go to him a lot, and actually I picked up Ertz late in the week. I dropped Dallas to get Ertz because I wanted him for the following week, and then I was already getting ready to play Hunter. So
It happens.
Hunter got me 4
All right.
points.
Yeah,
Nice.
but your defense got you 50.
True story. True
All
story.
right. I'm surprised you didn't take New England's defense again as your hero, but you can't take them every week.
I can't take him every week, but they were phenomenal.
Oh, speaking of every week, last year, every week, this guy was probably someone's hero. But it hasn't been that way this year. But it's nice to see Devontae Adams coming through. 7 catches, 115, 2 tutties. I called it. It was beautiful. It happened. I loved it. And I won my matchup in the Sleeper League. Thank you, Devontae Adams. So he's my hero.
Nice.
All right. Now we got to talk about the zeros. The guys that came up small. I can't believe I'm going to hear this from Johnny's mouth. But you have a running back. Who is it?
Zeke, where you at? Where you at, man? Listen, it's just me and you right now. It's just me and you talk, Zeke. What are you doing to me? I drafted you high. I touted you all off season. You gave me a few good games, and then you just dropped me like this. I don't understand. You're a zero. You're a zero. Until you prove otherwise, you're a zero, Zeke. I'm done.
Wow. That was an angry rant right there.
It's
Oh my
an
God.
angry Zeke. Yes.
Oh. I have a feeling Tony's a little pissed at this guy too, because I know you played him a few times and he really hasn't come through for you.
Who am I not pissed at? Who am I not pissed at? Really? Like 90% of my guys are pretty much zeros. It's like each week I got one or two guys that just keeps my head above water. But this guy, listen, it's not a huge surprise. He had a couple like flash in the pan kind of games when he was like in Baltimore or something, but I've been forced with all the injuries to play Alex Collins. Okay. The guy's not very good. All right. Sometimes he'll show a burst here and there, but the guy is not moving his legs, man. He sucked this week. He sucked last week. It doesn't matter. He's had one okay game this year. Alex Collins is a zero. He's a failure. I do not know why they keep giving him the ball. They got two backups behind him, three, I think, that are better. So give those guys the ball and don't start Alex Collins in fantasy or in the NFL. Freaking guy.
Wow. Okay, Keith, you have a surprising quarterback that you call a zero this week. Who is it?
It's Dak Prescott. I don't know what the heck is going on there. You have no Amari Cooper. CeeDee Lamb goes down. I get it, but you have other targets there. When a quarterback takes sacks, it really bugs me because all you have to do is throw the ball away, and it really bugs me. I mean, he took 5 sacks this week for 22 yards. That just kills an offense. Mm-hmm. You've got a running back that is killing it out there in Tony Pollard, not Zeke, but Tony Pollard. Get this guy the ball more. He had 2 catches for 20 yards. He had 7 carries for 50 yards against a team that you need to beat. You have to beat the Kansas City Chiefs if you want to go anywhere. And for the fact that they're just sucking right now, I don't understand what's going on with Dak or Zeke, and they need to figure this shit out.
Well, part of the reason is Amari Cooper's out, and then he lost CeeDee Lamb. And CeeDee Lamb is my zero this week. John, you and I have talked about this. A hero, a true hero, a superhero. He gets hurt after he drops 20 points for you in the first half,
yes.
right?
That's right.
CeeDee Lamb, he got hurt, but he wasn't doing anything before he got hurt. He had 3 catches for 14 yards, 4 fantasy points. Then he goes down, he can't return, and you get hardly anything. So he's my zero. But I really think be easy on Dak. 2 of his best weapons are not out there, and I think that's really affecting him. Did you see how many balls Cedric Wilson dropped?
True.
Yeah, there's a few in there.
Well, then stop throwing him the ball.
Yeah. Throw it to Zeke, throw it to Pollard. Throw it to Zeke, throw it to Pollard. Literally screen the whole time. They would have got
tight ends, man.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling to me how little offensive coordinators or coaches change their game plan. Like when you go into a game, you've got a game plan, that's fine. But as soon as it's not working, you got to switch things up. You don't keep throwing the ball 43 times knowing that your quarterback doesn't have it today. He had 2 picks. He just doesn't have it today. You need to start running the ball. You need to figure something out. Give the ball to guys that are moving the ball. It's mind-boggling to me. I can't stand that.
I'm with you.
All right, John. Another zero. Give it to me. Who you got?
Just mentioned him a little bit earlier, and I actually forgot I gave him to you as my zero. Hunter Henry. What are you doing? 2 catches for 25 yards on 3 targets. Hey, Mac, you're a check down quarterback. You like to throw it to the tight end. You throw it to the guys and check down in your running backs. What are you doing only throwing him 3 times? You can only hit him twice for 25 yards. Give me at least a gratuitous touchdown. I mean, that's where Hunter Henry makes his money. I didn't even get that.
All right.
4.5 points. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Hunter.
Thanks a lot. Damn you. All right.
I benched Ertz for you.
Tony, a defense is your zero. Who you got?
Man, do I carry a lot of resentment and bitterness these days. I can't, like, I'm not even sleeping well. So these fucking guys, excuse my language, I picked them up in 2 leagues. Obviously, I lost those 2 also, some head-to-heads. And one was important because we're in first place in a huge league, and we played an easy team and lost. I lost by 3 points because I got 0 out of a 0 defense called the Tennessee Titans in the freaking rain. You're in the rain, dude. You can at least stop a couple runs or get some kind of crazy sack, pick, fumble recovery, something. Horrible. Titans were horrible. Pissed off still. So the Titans defense suck.
You forgot to mention that they were playing that juggernaut called the Texans.
Right? I'm trying to be cool right now because I'm like, good for them, man. Good for the Texans.
I'm just glad I wasn't any more survivor pools because that would have wrecked me. I would have had to die.
Right?
Easily.
That or the Bills.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
This is never ending.
It's never ending. It's hard to predict this year, guys.
It is.
Actually, I would have been out on the Bills 2 weeks ago when they lost
against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
So, Keith, you and I both have quarterbacks that have really been struggling. I'll let you go first. He's your 0 at quarterback. Who is it?
It's Baker Mayfield. This guy just needs to go. His leash has been long enough. He's gone through running wide receivers. He can't hit anything. Even that video that OBJ put out, or his dad put out. It's just funny to watch how many times he's just not hitting the right guys or just missing targets on a regular basis. He's just no good. It's time. The experiment's been done. It's over. It's time to move on.
Yeah, and then he said something in the press conference. Did you guys see that? Where they were talking about why the crowd was booing him. And he's like, I don't even care. He's like, he basically just like dismissed the fans. He says, the only person I care about are my teammates. So it's not looking good there, man. This could be. I know he's
going to start booing him himself.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely going to start booing his wife if she can't shut up.
But guess what, Keith? That just means this week they're going to run the ball with Chubb and Hunt. Chubb Hunt, right, Tony? It's a Chubb Hunt week.
Going on a Chubb Hunt.
All right. Real quick, I had a quarterback as well. And let's just be real. It's Matt Ryan, and he's been a joke the last few weeks. His team has scored a total of 3 points in the last 2 weeks. Dallas beat him 43-3. And then they lost 25-0 to New England. And Matt Ryan had negative points against Dallas, and he had barely double digits against New England. Matt Ryan's garbage, folks. And I realize Ridley's out, and a lot of his weapons are not producing like they used to. And Kyle Pitts hasn't been great either. But I think part of the responsibility has to be on Matt Ryan. He's been awful. And I think they need to draft a young quarterback and start over. I think it's time.
Don't you think they needed to do that this last year?
Probably.
Or how transcendent Pitts is supposed to be? Clearly he's not. And second of all, and I think he will be good, by the way. I think he will. But the fact of the matter is they needed to draft that quarterback. That job, I don't know how Terry Fontenot has a job after this. That is maybe the worst general manager job. And here's how I know. The guy that was their leading rusher this week was the guy from the practice squad who they actually cut in the summer. They went, he's better than what's his name? Mike
Davis.
Mike Davis and Wayne Gallman.
Olenson.
Oh, yeah.
I just picked the dude up. I'm like, I'll give him a shot. Who knows now?
That guy got cut. Wasn't good enough to make the team. He had more carries than a healthy Mike Davis and a healthy Wayne Gallman. He had more carries.
I also cut Mike Davis, Johnny. I cut Mike Davis off my roster. He's fantasy useless.
Good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I was going to mention him later.
Fantasy Thanksgiving.
All right, enough bitching. On to the next segment. Let's get positive.
All right.
Thanksgiving, guys. It's Thanksgiving. Let's talk about our fantasy Thanksgiving, what we're thankful for in fantasy football. And I'm going to let John start it off. What the heck? This could be anything that your heart desires. What are you thankful for this Thanksgiving?
I'll be honest with you, Keith. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for you for sniping Dak Prescott from me. Because I wanted him so bad, and you sniped him, and I don't have him, and I had to settle for Lamar. So I am thankful, Keith. You get an extra turkey leg this Thanksgiving, just on me.
Keith, I'm going to let you have the stage after you got pounced on there by John. What are you thankful for?
Honestly, I'm thankful to all of you guys for letting me join these podcasts. It's been fun. I really thoroughly enjoy watching them every week and getting to laugh with you guys. Even when I'm not on the show, I am just laughing hysterically at all the stuff you guys do. So thank you for putting this on, Chuck, and thank you guys for being such great hosts.
Hey, you can't do
You just
that.
made me look
Look
like
at
a
you,
dick,
dude.
Keith. Thanks a lot.
Look at you,
Thanks.
dude.
Wow.
What a good man.
That
What
was
a-
fantastic. And now I
Oh,
look
that
like
was
a
awful.
giant
I took it
jackass.
seriously when he said that. I was like, all right, I got something.
Oh, man. Tony,
That's perfect.
Tony, what are you
Now,
thankful
now how
for?
does Johnny feel?
I feel bad, man. I feel like a jackass. I mean, I still think it was funny, and I still like what I did. But I feel bad.
All right,
Well,
Tony.
I'm gonna selfishly give thanks to my one fantasy player. I am so grateful that Christian McCaffrey is healthy right now. Fingers crossed, but he's looking a little bit stronger. And actually, in a way, and you guys are gonna laugh at this, I'm a little bit thankful that they brought in Cam Newton, because Newton's gonna steal a red zone carry or two and get his touchdown and show his Superman, the super S on his chest. But other than that, when he starts sucking, which is already going to be next week, he's going to turn to McCaffrey to make him look good. So I am thankful for a healthy McCaffrey and Cam getting him the ball.
Nice.
Yes. I'm with you.
All right. I want to tell you what I'm thankful for, and I go in a little bit different direction. It's not necessarily about fantasy players in general, but it's in the league that we play in. I am thankful that we play in a league that prioritizes total points over head-to-head record, eliminating a lot of the luck of the draw and emphasizing the true strength of each team and quantifying it with total points. And we reward it that way. We give most of the pot to total points. I'm very thankful that we do that, because in head-to-head, I'm in several other leagues that are head-to-head. I'm doing pretty good point-wise and terrible in it because of the luck of the draw. So I'm very thankful for that. Now, does anybody else have anything else that they're thankful for?
I have one more thing I'm thankful for.
Go for it.
I'm thankful that the other teams in our league, including the other teams in the NFL, had no idea how good Cordero Patterson could be when used correctly. And I'm so thankful that I've got that guy on my team this year, man. He has saved me several weeks with injuries. When Montgomery got injured, he filled in. He's been awesome, man. I am thankful for Cordero Patterson and that everybody else didn't know how awesome he was.
Nice. That's a good one. Anybody else have anything they're thankful for?
Yeah, I'm thankful for the Chiefs running attack. They realize that their passing game isn't doing a lot. So Darrell Williams, and I was not forced, but I decided to throw in Clyde, and he, had a good game coming off the IR, man. I was surprised. So they're utilizing it. They're throwing him the ball. They're handing it off. So I'm very thankful for that. I'm excited about it.
You know who else is thankful for that? Keith. Because Keith has Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and he has Christian McCaffrey, and you just thanked both his running backs.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Keith.
You just did my job for me.
He just did his job. But Keith, I want to say thank you for the kind words earlier. And I'm actually, I'm going to say something nice about your team. Even though you've had some down luck, I think you're about to make a run. You have Dak
I think so.
Prescott.
I actually think so too.
Edwards-Helaire. If you get Amari Cooper back, you have, the guy from the Vikings, Thielen. I got a Thielen. You're going to make a run. You also have Dawson Knox, so your team's solid and looking good going forward. So I wish you luck. Now, having said that, I have one more thing that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that we play in a league that has such a unique scoring system, different from all the other leagues that you've ever played in, and especially in the fact that our league differentiates good quarterbacks from bad ones. Example. So I'm listening to the radio, listening to other podcasts, and they're talking about who their number one top scoring quarterbacks are in their league. Guess who it is? Jalen Hurts leads most fantasy in the standard fantasy football league. Jalen Hurts is on top of the quarterback realm. Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
In our league, based on points per game, Jalen Hurts is 13th average, just like he is in real NFL. He's an average quarterback. So for instance, here's our top 5. Tom Brady's number 1, Kyler Murray 2, Justin Herbert 3, Josh Allen 4, Lamar Jackson 5. Doesn't that sound right?
Yeah.
That sounds more in line with the real NFL. And I'm super glad that we reward points the way we do for quarterbacks to differentiate the good from the bad. That's all I got to say about that.
I agree.
Week 12 matchups.
Week 12 is upon us. Thanksgiving week. We got some good matchups, some possible waiver wire gems. Let's talk about them. I picked out 5 matchups that intrigued me this week, and I'd like to talk to you guys about them. Let's start with a Thursday game. We got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams need a win pretty badly. Cowboys are favored by 8 points. Over-under is 50.5. I'm going to start with you, Tony. I feel like the Raiders are being a little disrespected here with the 8-point spread, especially if Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are out. What do you think?
Well, yeah, with the injuries now, I think they are. Now, the Raiders are, dude, Carr, I mean, the offense looks pretty bad right now. I mean, I understand you can get Waller the ball, but I do not like that team right now at all. They're going downhill. But Dallas, a little questionable right now, man. Injuries, Prescott's acting weird. This is the week. If they're able to do something with those injuries, 8 points, that's a lot. But I still think that they can rebound and still pull this game off. But 8 is a hell of a lot.
Are we expecting anybody in fantasy football to exploit the matchups in this game? Do we like anybody? Who do you like, John?
First of all, I think the world's being cheated from the Amari Cooper revenge game against the Raiders, so I'm a little bummed about that.
Yeah.
But I think Zeke and Pollard both feed this week. I think they're going to just try to run and shove the ball down the Raiders' throats. Dak will have a good game. The Raiders are just bad. I honestly think I don't think the coaching change hurt near as much as the Ruggs thing. It was like that was the blow. Like it was already a blow to lose the coach, but then you get that, and it seemed like it just completely took the wind out of their sails.
Yeah.
I've been the same team. Carr's not been the same quarterback. I actually might call for him on the Fantasy Reaper later. I don't like any Raider. I don't like one Raider, not even Waller. I don't even like Waller.
Not as a top 5 anyway.
Mm-mm.
All right, on to the next matchup. Let's talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks at the Indianapolis Colts. Bucks are favored by 2.5. Over under is 51.5. And I'm going to start off by saying right now, I think the Colts are going to win this game. They're getting disrespected again, and I think Jonathan Taylor is going to run on the Bucks. What do we think? I'm going to start with you, Keith.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Colts will win. I think they found the recipe, and just giving Jonathan Taylor the ball and don't stop giving him the ball until he gets in the end zone. And I think until somebody stops him, they're just going to keep doing it.
What do you think, Tony?
Where are they playing at again?
It's in Indianapolis.
It's Indy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Colts too, man. I like them, and I hate to talk about Wentz, but his composure, he looks good. Like he looks comfortable to me. Is he still like? Is he really a top 10 dude? He's had a couple games. I I just like his demeanor on the field, and I think it's kind of working. And I'm excited. I want them to win, so I'm pulling for them.
I got to be honest, they remind me of the Tennessee Titans, the way the Titans were playing earlier this year. They just give the ball to Derrick Henry, don't turn the ball over, and play a little defense, and that's the recipe to winning. And that's what they've been doing. And Carson Wentz hasn't been throwing the ball much lately. It's been all Jonathan Taylor. So I expect more.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'll be the lone wolf.
Oh,
Buccaneers are going to win this game. And here's why. Because they do remind me of the Tennessee. I thought the Tennessee Titans had everything figured out, and they just lost to the Texans. All right. Are going to run into a little fella named Vita Vea. Jonathan Taylor's not going to be able to run that much on that front there if they get him back. And it's just because it feels like the Colts should win, and this season is so freaking weird. I think the Buccaneers will win that game.
you did say Jonathan Taylor was going to have a tough game against Buffalo last week. You said 60 yards, maybe a touchdown.
I know. I know. I could be a week off.
Could be. We'll see. Well, let's segue. We were just talking about the Titans, and they're going to New England. And the Patriots are favored by 6.5. The over-under is 44.5. Keith, what do you expect in this game? Is there anything you're looking forward to fantasy-wise?
What team? I didn't even hear what team you were talking about.
Tennessee at New England.
Tennessee and New England? Oh, yeah. I'm actually really interested in this game. I want to see Tennessee come back. I want to see them actually get back to dominating. But it's the Patriots. And so I think that Patriots are going to win this game. I just actually think that Tennessee could give them some trouble that Patriots aren't ready for. So I'm actually looking forward to it a lot. I think A.J. Brown is going to come out this game and put Tennessee back on the market.
Do we disagree?
This is tough.
Let me tell you why I disagree. Has anybody seen what Belichick's record is against his old coaches?
It's good.
I don't know it offhand. I just know it's really good, right? He just, for whatever reason, finds a way to get in those guys' head. He always wins against his ex-people that used to coach and play for him. I think Tennessee was exposed a little bit last week. The lack of running game, and they tried all three different backs that they had. Even a guy from the practice squad got the most carries. It ain't good. And then you don't have Julio and you don't have AJ Brown. That was a bad combination. Now maybe those guys. I don't think Julio can come back. I think he's still on IR, but AJ might be back. But he's banged up. I mean, the last 2 weeks he's left the game with some injuries. Both games. Patriots defense is playing out of their mind right now. I would not want to play the Patriots today. I think the Patriots win that game, and I think they win it by a lot because it's in New England. I'm calling for.
Yeah, I think Tennessee was looking forward to this game, and that's why they shit the bed this weekend against Houston. So I think we're going to be surprised by what they can do against the Patriots.
They do seem to play up to their competition. I will say that.
I think it's a low-scoring game coming. I think it's a low-scoring game. We'll see. I like New England. I like them by probably a touchdown, but we'll see what happens. I want to go to you, Tony, for this next game. It's the Los Angeles Rams at the Green Bay Packers. Over-under is 48, and it's a pick 'em. No one's favored. So I want to start with you,
Wow.
Tony. Who you taking? Who you like in this game? What do you got?
I'm a little down on the Rams defense right now. I don't really know what's going on with that team. But I don't know what's going on with any team. So and Rodgers tends to rebound. I cannot see the Packers losing this game, though I think the Rams are a little more well-rounded. So I'm contradicting myself. I'm picking the Packers straight up to win this by a touchdown.
Yeah, it's in Green Bay, so I like the Packers in this game. But I do want to see what Beckham does this week. I'm interested to see if he's going to be incorporated in the offense a lot more this week. kind of like Robert Woods was, and maybe we could see him catch 5 or 6 balls. What do you think, John?
Maybe. I just don't think he's Robert Wood. He's not the same style of player Robert Woods. And I just don't think he's that good anymore. So I like Green Bay too at home. It would be nice to see Rodgers put together 2 really good games in a row. I haven't seen that so much this year. So it'd be nice to see him put a couple of games together, see if he can get over that big toe issue that he's got. But I don't think the Rams have enough firepower to stay with him.
I think this game is going to depend on if the Rams can run the ball. I think if they can get Henderson running the ball and control the game clock, if it's a low-scoring game, I think the Rams have a chance. If this gets into a shootout, I think Rodgers just has magic. And although it didn't come to fruition last week, and that was only because he scored too quickly,
Scored too fast.
75-yard
Yeah.
bomb to MVS. Normally he closes those games out to the last second of the game, and so I think the only problem was he scored too quickly. Otherwise, we would have seen it again.
You know what I want to see, guys? I want to see Jair Alexander shadow fucking Cooper Kupp.
Yes,
No doubt.
Somebody
Yes,
please,
please.
shut this man down 1 week.
please. Yes.
Just once.
So I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Would be lovely.
Would be.
Shouldn't be too hard.
He on pace for over 2,000 yards.
Yes. Come on, man.
The next Jerry Rice.
Yeah. We know he's good. And I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's not this good.
We're taking a little bit away from him, right? We're like, how's he always open? Doesn't anybody know how to cover it? Maybe he's just really good against free of the deep backs. Maybe that's fine. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Maybe. All right. Next matchup and final matchup that I want to talk about was the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson should be back. Hollywood Brown should be back. Ravens are favored by 3.5 at home. Over-under's 46. Johnny, this is kind of your combo. You got both those guys. I want to hear your take. What do you think is going to happen?
Take the Ravens and the over. Take the Ravens and the over. The Ravens might score 43 points on their own. I'm just telling you, man. I think Lamar and Marquise are going to come back. They've had a week to rest. I think Cleveland is in just a spiral. It's at home. Lamar plays awesome in prime time. Always seems to put up some of his best games in prime time. Love me some Ravens this week. Love me some Ravens big this week. I don't like any Cleveland Browns except for Chubb.
Tony, Chubb Hunt, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. Should be a lot of them. I think they're going to rely on the running game. Baltimore can be run on. So I think they're going to keep it close. What do you think?
I think it's going to be close too. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, I'm still going with the Ravens at home, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout, especially if Cleveland runs the ball, because that's all they can do anyway. So if they stick to that, they'll be all right. Ravens defense is not that good, so they can run on them. But let me ask you guys a question. Your opinion on this whole Lamar thing. What is up with this dude's immune system? And I'm not even making jokes. The past 3 years. He's always out with an illness, and he's the only football player. I don't even know anybody that's had COVID twice. This guy's tested positive twice. That's irrelevant compared to always having the flu and some kind of cold. He had a stomach thing. What was that? 3 seasons ago. Last year he was ill with something. I don't know. It's confusing.
It is weird. It's a
little strange, though.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Well, that's why he's been tested positive twice for COVID, because he's obviously got some immunity problems there. He's got something wrong with his immune system, and that's why he's always ill. It is odd that a guy in as much money as he makes in the NFL, where they get all the supplements they need, and they have nutritionists and guys making sure your conditioning's top notch.
Yeah.
I wonder how these guys get sick all the time. It's odd.
Right.
It does make you wonder if there's some sort of underlying condition or something. I actually am worried about him. Like his.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
Burning questions.
All right. Burning questions. So each week at the end of the show, I like to ask a couple questions that are like burning a hole in my head and making me think. But this week I wanted to do it kind of I want to talk about fantasy football leagues and some of the ideas that commissioners have come up with to kind of spice up the league, make the scoring a little different. And I want to throw it your way and see what you guys think of these rules, okay? So let's start with my first burning question. Super flex position. So a lot of fantasy football commissioners are having a super flex instead of a regular flex position. And all that means is you can play a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, or tight end at the super flex position. So basically, most players just play 2 quarterbacks. Do you like this rule? What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Keith. What do you think of this rule?
I'm torn. I like the idea of adding another flex position. I like the idea of having another quarterback, but the fact that they kind of do it as a super flex position, problem with that is everybody does a quarterback, and there's only normally like one person every week that's screwed out of a quarterback and ends up having to throw a running back or a wide receiver in there and get screwed. Especially in a lot of those leagues where the quarterback is rated differently. At least in your league, you can get really bad scores on a quarterback. A lot of these other leagues, they get a rushing touchdown and that's all they need. So it's a big difference. It makes the quarterbacks definitely more highly drafted. You'll see 2 quarterbacks taken in the first 3 rounds, and that's just crazy to me. Don't get
Yeah.
it.
And actually, like you said, let's just have a regular flex position and maybe go 2 quarterbacks if you want to do that. That way, if you do a super flex, like you said, they're just going to put a second quarterback in. So let's just do 2
Right.
quarterbacks and then also have a flex position. What do you think, John?
I'm pretty progressive when it comes to fantasy stuff, so I like new ideas and some changes. I am not crazy about the super flex position, and here's why. What I like about fantasy football when it's done right is it can mirror playing the game and being a manager of the game, and sometimes you can go 3 wides, and sometimes you can go 2 running backs and 2 tight end. You could do those formations in the NFL. Never once in a game have I ever seen 2 quarterbacks take snaps at the same time. Right, so I don't get it. Right, no, I know you can have one.
I have
That.
Marcus Mariota and Derek Carr, but it's rare.
But what I'm saying,
No.
Taysom Hill
They-
and Drew Brees.
I'm saying the ball can't be snapped to them at the same time, right? You know what I'm saying? So that never happens. I'm just not crazy about it. I don't dig it that much.
Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, I did a league like you were saying. It wasn't a super flex, but it was 2 QBs. So a couple of my high school and also college buddies in Ohio, I played in a league for about 4 years with them. And it was, when you had good QBs, it was quite entertaining. But if you're going to talk about the top 5 to 7 QBs and it's a 10 to 12 team league, it didn't matter if you had McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley in their prime. If you had 2 money-ass QBs, you were always in the top 3. And if they stayed healthy, there's a couple bottom teams that had to pick up a Mike Glennon, and it really hurt them.
Mhm.
So there was 2 or 3 dominant teams, and they had the best QBs. It didn't matter. Like I said, it didn't matter if you had McCaffrey. It wasn't enough. So they started talking about changing the scoring of the QBs, and I was like, then just drop the second QB if you're going to change the scoring. So it just didn't work out. And my buddy just called me the other day, as a matter of fact, and they haven't done that in like 3 years. They quit doing it.
The only time it makes sense to do 2 quarterbacks or a super flex to me is in an 8 or maybe a 10-team league that's smaller.
Sure.
If you're in an 8-team league, for instance, then you're going to have all the best quarterbacks, and they're all going to be the same, right? If you've got Josh Allen,
It'll all be
and
dispersed.
Mahomes,
Yeah.
it's like really not differentiating each other. So you want to have 2 quarterbacks and get at least the top 16 quarterbacks playing in starting lineups. I get that. But in a normal like 12-team or higher league, I don't like it. I don't want
Yeah.
one
I don't want
quarterback, baby, one.
Yeah, I don't like it.
All right. Another thing that a lot of fantasy football commissioners are doing is they're trying to up the level of tight ends because they're so vanilla and not that good. So they give them what they call tight end premium, where they get 1.5 points per reception. And so that ups the value a little bit on guys that catch a lot of balls at tight end, and thus they get drafted earlier, and they're almost as important as receivers and running backs, sometimes even more important if you're Travis Kelce. So what do you guys think about that? I'll start with you, John.
So it just makes the most mediocre players on the field more important. I mean, honestly, like I think it more behooves the top 3 or 4 tight ends. It will make them go astronomical. Then they're almost as good as a Devontae Adams or somebody like that. But your middle to back end tight ends, they're just I don't know if it does that much more for them. I mean, Hunter Henry would have gotten you what, another 3 points, maybe, with a 1.5 premium. So I don't know. To me, that just seems like making a rule change to make a rule change. I guess I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. I'm not angry with it, like I would be with a 2 quarterback thing. But if you're asking me if I would prefer it, I'd be like, nah, just let the tight ends play the way the tight ends play.
Let me ask you a question. Is Travis Kelce more important than Tyreek Hill in real life? No.
No.
They need Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce equally. But in fantasy football, if you do the premium tight end, obviously Kelsey's more valuable than Tyreek Hill. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, go look at those leagues and where Kelsey was being drafted in those leagues. He's being drafted top 3.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's like,
It's
okay,
stupid.
well then
Yeah.
why are we doing that if we're just gonna make sure that Kelsey gets drafted in the first round every week,
Right.
every it's just crazy.
Right.
I'm with
Right.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's overkill. There's no reason to bump up tight ends. Most tight ends in the NFL for real are not that important. They're more important at blocking, and they don't need to be super important in fantasy either. They just are who they are. All right. This one I've done before in my leagues, and I'm kind of curious. We didn't do it. We don't do it anymore because it's not something that's done automatically by the websites. I think the website should look into doing this, though. Having backups at each position, your quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. And let me give you an example. If your quarterback gets hurt in the first half and you have submitted a backup in case of injury, okay? So say you have Tom Brady, he gets hurt, and as your backup, you have Ben Roethlisberger or whatever. At least you could plug him in and get his points instead of Tom Brady's if he outscores Tom Brady. And we used to do that, and I would have to manually go in and change it, only if the guy got hurt in the first half. Do we like that? Because in real life, if your player gets hurt, you can sell.
Did we do an average, Chuck? I thought we did an average of the 2.
We tried both. We've done both.
Yeah. I actually kind of like it because, again, it does mirror a regular football team. If you get an injury to somebody, you put somebody in. You don't
Absolutely.
not play with a receiver for the rest of the game. I also like that it's you cut it off at halftime, though, right? So somebody gets injured in the 4th quarter, you can't then average out both your people's players. So you're not getting maybe the max amount of points you get, but you'd be getting something. So, for instance, CeeDee Lamb goes out; he doesn't have much for you, but maybe your backup was Elijah Moore, and now you take those 2 average. It was a 3 points versus whatever he had, which was I think 27 or something like that. And you at least get something for your person who's out. So I really like it. I miss when we used to do that.
Yeah, and these websites, they have the capability of doing this for you. Like,
Yeah.
if the
It's just
commissioner
algorithms
says,
and
yeah, it's just algorithm. Just calculate it. Do it for us. Allow us to do that. I wish they would, because I don't want to have to manually do everything. But if, as a commissioner, if I can say, hey, yes, that guy got hurt, and then it automatically calculates the backups points, that'd be fantastic.
Yep.
What do you
It'd be like
I hope you're
a
listening.
cross version of best ball, you know, it's kind of like mirroring the
Right.
2,
A little
the
bit,
best ball and regular format together.
yeah.
But the difference is you have to have these guys on your roster and active on your roster to be able to use them as backups.
Sure.
There's some strategy into it.
Let's be
There is.
honest. What is the biggest negative about fantasy football?
Injuries.
Is injuries. It's disheartening when you're into it like we are, because I'm not asking to have a backup player take me to, the championship. I just want to remain competitive. And it takes the wind out of your sails when you lose a few players and you get that big fat 0 or that 5 points or whatever it is, when it's just like, hey man, I made a good choice by choosing this player. This was a good, it was a good position. I picked him up in a great round. It's not my fault he got hurt. And I'm being penalized in a way because I'm a baby, but You know what I mean? It's like I just want to stay competitive. If I lose,
Exactly.
I lose. But just let me score a few points. That I did my best.
Yeah.
That's why I like backup.
And again, it mirrors real life football. It mirrors.
Absolutely.
Hey, Chuck, I got a burning question for you that's related to this. With the game changing the way it is, especially with running backs and with catching passes being so much more of a premium for running backs, should we go to a bonus for total yards from scrimmage? So maybe it's 125 yards from scrimmage. So because you get a running back that does 75 and 75, that's a fantastic day from that running back, right?
Yeah.
But he's not getting a bonus on either receiving or rushing. Does it make more sense to do a 125 point? You get 125 yards from scrimmage, you get a 5-point bonus.
Yeah, that's something you can think about.
Just
I can
because
see
it
that.
mirrors the change
I like that.
in importance with running backs and the way they're utilizing running backs these days.
But then if you do that, a guy like Christian McCaffrey,
Tune in next
who's
week for another
already
episode of Fantasy Sports
head
Island,
and
where
heels
the
above
Fantasy Reaper
all
will
other
come for
running
you.
backs, right? Now he's getting
Yeah,
even.
can we start that this week?
Yeah.
Well, but you don't give the bonus for 100 and 100 anymore. It's just one bonus.
Okay, so you're taking away, but still, like Christian McCaffrey usually has like
He just get his
89
5-point
yards,
bonus.
and he also usually has 67 yards catching. So
Right,
he's-
but that's what I'm saying. That guy should get a bonus every week.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That's something to think about.
That's something to talk about in the off season for sure.
Yeah.
Now, along those,
Start
Go
it
ahead.
this week. I'm good. Let's have a vote.
He's like, let's do this shit.
roll, something
it
that
does. It helps your receivers that run like Debo. Think about Debo. That guy gets 15,
Yeah.
20 yards per carries in a week and might get 75 yards. I mean, that might be something that could really help him out even more than what it is now. I just think with the use of players in both facets more, I just think it, again, mirrors the importance in the way they're used in the game.
So we give bonuses for 300 yards passing, 400 yards passing, etc., and we give for rushing, receiving 100-yard bonus, 175, 250, etc.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert this week had almost 400 yards passing and almost 100 yards rushing. By the way, he had 390 passing, I believe, close to that, and
92.
he had 93 yards rushing or 91 yards rushing after he kneeled out. That's never been done. That was the highest combination of passing and rushing yards ever.
Oh, really?
It was insane. It was insane.
But
That was
now
and he still didn't score as much as Lamar did.
he did not. Now, on the same lines about scoring, the last burning question I have is regarding first downs. A lot of commissioners are trying to implement a point per first down obtained. So if your running back gets a ball on 3rd and 1 and gets that first down, you get a point for that. If your possession receiver catches a ball for the first down, you get a point for that. Rather than getting like guys that catch 1-yard passes out of the backfield and don't go anywhere, if they actually do something and get a first down out of it, you get a little bit of an extra point there. So what do we think about that? I've tried this before, by the way.
I feel like I'd like a half a point for a first down. Like to me, I think a whole point feels like a lot, but a half a point, not that much, but it does reward a little bit for that 1-yard pass, that tough run to get that first down. I'm kind of into it a little bit.
That just sounds fun.
Yeah.
Something to get excited about.
I like, I think when we did it, we did a quarter of a point. And it included
Yeah, I'd be fine with that too. Yeah.
quarterbacks too. Like if they throw a pass and get a first down off the pass, they got like a quarter point. And it seemed to work out. What we
Sweet
did,
Lord.
we got rid of the bonuses though for 100 yards and 300 yards and all that, and we just did first downs. And it was kind of like it came out to about the same. So however you want to do it. What do you
I
think?
like the handy bonuses though.
I do too. What do you think, Keith?
Yeah, I think it's important for every commissioner at the end of the year to kind of look at the differentials in points and figure out things that make sense for the league.
Yeah.
I know in one of my leagues, just to make it more fun, we have yardage bonuses for touchdowns. So like that MVS touchdown, toward the end of the game with Rodgers, that's a 25-point touchdown in my league.
Yikes.
So it makes things so much more exciting. I mean, if you just want to have a fun league, doing things like that, it makes it so much more fun just to watch games because you're sitting there rooting. Even at the end of the game, you're just hoping for that one long bomb. If you
Keeps
have
you in
like a
it.
Rodgers
Yeah.
MVS combination where if you have that touchdown from Rodgers to MVS, that's a 50 points in one play. And adding things like the first downs, I think it makes watching the game even more enjoyable. And I think that's what fantasy football was all about, was trying to make fans more excited about these boring games sometimes. And you can still root for some crappy team that's got one good player you're just hoping to get a first down out of. You know,
Yeah, I agree.
just to
I
win your
agree.
week.
That's
You know,
a
that's
great point, Keith. Yeah.
that's
And
what it should
honestly-
be about. And
Yeah, and who doesn't like scoring points? I mean, the more points you offer overall,
I was just going to say that these
we like
commissioners
points.
that want these leagues, that want the points as few as possible, I don't get it, man. What fun is that? I mean, our league is so much fun, and it's a couple hundred points. That wouldn't happen in some leagues. You can't get I've cleared 200 points 3 times. I'm not even in first place in our league. It's just fun, man. It's I agree with you, Keith. If you're not, as a
Yeah.
commissioner, looking at ways to keep everybody engaged, keep it exciting, keep it fun, then you're not doing your job as a commish. And Chuck, I have to say
I'll
this,
tell you,
phenomenal commissioner.
Thank you.
that we have 2 different variations of that league. So we have a variation that has basically the standard format of you get points per yardage, and then we have one that's just scoring. So we have a league where you can score literally like just 5 points a week because
Ugh.
none of your players score a touchdown. And so it's crazy fun. The other thing that I really liked is
Sounds miserable.
I don't know if teams have, if other leagues have really done this, but I get, and I like that Chuck includes this in his defensive format, where the defense is only charged for points against. So
Yeah.
like if there's a pick 6, the defense isn't charged for that 6 points. And I think that's
Yeah.
really important for defenses. But we also did teams. So instead of just picking a defense, it's basically a scoring format where if your team loses by 10 points, you get negative 10 points. Your team wins by 10 points, they get 10 points. So it adds a little more aspect to, you're kind of looking at the point spreads going, okay, who's got a good point spread this week? Who can I play
Yeah.
this week?
Matchups really mean something there.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm kind of getting tired of the rip-offs on interceptions. We're talking way too much detail, though, because you can't, as a commissioner and even as a website algorithm, if Mahomes throws right on the numbers to Kelsey and it bounces off his chest and goes to the defender, you know, Mahomes gets like, I'm like, dude, I just got a -3 because Kelsey had his head up his ass. Not a lot you can do about that. But I would like to find a way that a lot of these QBs are get ripped off sometimes with just, you know, tipped ball.
I wish
-3.
I wish they would give the interception to the player that's at fault. And as an NFL statistician,
That is awesome.
Kelsey
That is
should be
awesome. But
credited with a fumble or a pick on his stats or whatever.
yeah,
Kind of like
yeah.
how baseball does it. Whoever screws up gets the error. I wish they
right,
could
right.
do that in football.
I kind of like that, Chuck.
But I'm not the commissioner, so
I'm
And
electing
that's
Chuck
hard-
as the
that's hard to
commissioner of
do.
the NFL, actually.
We could do that.
You want to
too.
know
We could
something
do
else that would be fun to add, but that can never be done? Pass interference yardage.
yeah.
I can't stand when my quarterback throws a bomb and at the last second the defensive player just pushes my guy out of the way. That's defensive pass interference, and
Yeah.
I don't get any
Nothing for
yardage
you.
for it.
Yeah.
It's
Or
actually a
your
negative.
receiver. Yeah.
It's a negative for your receiver or quarterback because not only do you not get the credit for the yardage, but now they've moved down the field and all that yardage you could have got is now gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you
Sucks.
can't get that yardage.
Yeah.
Right.
We could talk about this subject for hours.
Yeah.
I mean, my QB throws to my wide receiver a 35-yard touchdown, and it gets called back because the line, held the defense. Holding call. I'm like, I'm getting my what?
Or
that
they
right
give you
there
your
sends
mama
me
joke.
over. Yeah. See. Oh well.
Hey, Tony.
Semantics. Yes, sir.
Do you hear that? What is that? The fantasy Reaper coming?
I think so.
Dun, dun.
Oh my gosh!
The Fantasy Reaper.
All right, everybody. Now it's time for our last segment of the day. It is the Fantasy Reaper. And let's see who everybody's got on their Reaper. Let's see if our Fantasy Reaper decides to take them or leave them. Keith, let's start with you. Who do you got on your Fantasy Reaper?
I'm going to do a controversial one. And I'm going to say Ezekiel Elliott. I think it's time for him to go, man. I hate to say it,
Wow.
but I really think Tony Pollard is legit. I really think that he's the next coming. I think it's time to move over Ezekiel Elliott and let somebody else eat.
So basically, you want Zeke to choke so that the Fantasy Reaper can come get him while he's.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's
Reaper, what do
time.
you say?
No, Johnny
Oh,
Ball
nay.
game. No, I can't take Ezekiel Elliott. He's still got some juice left. Can't do
Bench
it.
shares with that guy in 3 of my 4 leagues. Bite your tongue, Keith.
I pity the fool that thinks he should kill Ezekiel Elliott.
Pity the fool.
All right, Tony, who do you got?
Who else but Baker Mayfield? Be done with that guy, dude. He is not. I don't care if he has a good game next week. He is a fake, a fraud, and he needs to be moved on from. Cleveland needs somebody else. Get rid of Baker Mayfield, Mr. Reaper.
I'm telling you, Tony, I already axed his shoulder. I just missed his head by this much. But you know what? The Reaper really wants to get rid of him, so we don't have to watch him in those stupid damn insurance commercials anymore.
Right?
Nobody wants to see you doing your housework in the stadium, dude. Come on, man. Move on.
Man, I tell you what, I loved the Fantasy Reaper in the A-Team. I thought he was fantastic in the A-Team.
For the kids, Johnny. For the kids.
My guy, I think I was going to give him another shot. I thought maybe one more. Let's just give him one last try. Cam's in town, right? He got a new quarterback, his old quarterback he thrived with last year. Robbie Anderson. What are you doing to me? He had another 4 catches for 32. Nobody needs that. Reaper, what do we say? We taking out Robbie Anderson?
You know what? Yeah, I think it's time for him to go, and I'm going to start with his hair first. I'm going to chop off them braids, and then we'll go down the neck.
Nice. All right. I like it. All right, Keith, you have another one?
Danny Dimes, man. I'm done with that guy. I think it's time for him to go. Man, I'm just trying to get Johnny just fired up here and take all of his players as possible. So Danny Dimes, he's got to go. He can't hit anything. I love that the best part was when he made that big old long run and then fumbled over his feet. That was fantastic. Haven't had that in a long time, so now it's time for him to go.
Nice. I'm with you, but you took mine. That's I'm a little, so just like you took Dak from me earlier in the.
There you go.
All right, Chuckles, what do you got, buddy?
You want to hear who I want to take out?
I'll get to you. You just settle down, Chuck. I'm sorry, I meant Tony.
You meant about Daniel. I want to take Daniel Jones to heaven. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I knew you were going to take him. I didn't even want to give you a chance on that one. That was a given. All right, Tony.
I'm going to stay on the QB train and go with Mr. Contract, Taysom Tebow Hill, or whatever we call him tonight. What's the point? Mr. Fantasy Reaper, what is the point of having Taysom Hill? What are you doing with him? Please get rid of this guy. What do you think?
You know what? I don't want to take Taysom Hill because it's not his fault. I want to take Sean Payton. He did it to Drew Brees, then he did it to Winston, and now he's doing it to any other quarterback they put in there. We all know he wants Taysom to be the quarterback. Will you stop playing him at tight end then and just put him in at quarterback? Quit bringing him in at the goal line. No one wants to see that shit.
All right, so Peyton goes, Taysom stays. That's what you're telling me. Got it. All right, I'm going to stick with the quarterback train. This guy They made a trade for him in the offseason. They swapped quarterbacks and they said, hey, let's see how good we do when we take a guy who's been to a Super Bowl. We put him on a team that never goes to the Super Bowl. And we take that quarterback who's never been to the Super Bowl. We put him on a team who's going to the Super Bowl. And let's see if they can do better. Jared Goff should just go. 8.7 points, I think, in his last game. Before that, wasn't coming out of the 20s. Just a terrible quarterback. Just awful, awful. What do you think, Reep? Can we take him?
Most definitely. Let's do it. You hold him and I'll cut him.
All right, Reep, you got anybody you've been thinking about? Not even with us sending them to you, but somebody you just want out?
I'm laser focused on one guy, Johnny. Big Ben Cheeseburger. Roethlisberger.
Oh, no. Not Big Ben.
Big Ben, because they said he slimmed down for the season, but he still looks like fat bastard. I didn't have any corn. He's known for playing through injuries throughout his career. But let's be real. He was faking that shit so he could be the hero and play hurt, right? And come in and win the game while he's hurt. Now he's faking like he can still play quarterback in the NFL. But despite having an elite wide receiver core, a pass-catching running back, and two pretty good tight ends, the Big Hen is 25th in total QBR among starting quarterbacks, and he's quarterback 22 in fantasy football. And he's almost 40 years old, and he's killing the fantasy prospects for Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, and even Juju Smith-Schuster. I say it's time for the Reaper to put Heinz 57 on the cheeseburger and swallow up his career whole for good. And
I can get along with that.
I got one more thing to say about Big Ben. Oh, it smells like carrots and throw up. That's Big Ben, baby. That's the Big Ben.
Folks, I don't think you can disagree with me. This has been a phenomenal Fantasy Reaper segment that we've just witnessed with Mr. T / the Fantasy Reaper. So
yes, it has.
Fantastic job as always.
Thank you, sir.
Matt, you want us to close this out?
Let's close it out. All right, guys. It's been a fun show again. We appreciate it. Thank you once again to Johnny Ballgame, bringing that smoke.
Yeah, dude.
The fantasy antagonist, Keith. Thanks for coming back on the show, buddy. It's good to see you.
Brother. It's good to have you, man.
And Sir Poops a lot. Tony, great to have you back as well. Hopefully you'll be back next week as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we want to thank you, especially the audience. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because we're going to do this again next week, and you don't want to miss out. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Enjoy the games on Thursday night, Sunday, Monday night. It's going to be a great weekend, folks. Don't get too fat eating all that turkey. And aloha.
See you guys after Thanksgiving.
Thanks, everybody.
First thing you do, you gotta promise me to shut up.
Tune in next week for another edition of Fantasy Sports Island without Royce.